news update from Western Mass News.
Good morning, I'm Amanda Callahan. Here's your latest news update from Western Mass News. Today, tax refunds will start going out to Massachusetts taxpayers. It's all part of a rarely used state law that has been triggered by the excess tax revenue the state collected in 2021. An estimated 3.6 million taxpayers in Massachusetts are expected to receive a refund on a portion of the state taxes they paid in 2021. That's roughly 14%. Eversource sent a warning to New Englanders and President Joe Biden, claiming there might not be enough natural gas supply to power the region's electric grid. The company's CEO expressing a deep concern about New England's natural gas levels, saying the region may have to ration and take precautions to last us through the winter. The West Springfield Police Department is asking for the public's help identifying a shoplifting suspect. They say the woman pictured in these photos stole from a business in West Side at least 3 times. Anyone who recognizes her or has any information is being asked to contact West Springfield Police.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. We had an absolutely beautiful Halloween yesterday. It was a nice, comfortable evening last night. Had a couple of sprinkles, and we've been dealing with a few little spot showers and some dampness this morning. But for the most part today, we're not expecting a whole lot of rain. We will be dealing with, again, a couple of showers here and there. The bulk of the day will be dry, but we'll likely be stuck with clouds pretty much all day long. Maybe a few peaks of sun. Temperatures will come up into the mid-60s. A couple of weak fronts moving through today. Finally, this evening, a final front will push through. It will dry things out. Temperatures will cool off overnight tonight, but down into the 40s to near 50. And we have an absolutely beautiful stretch of weather on the way. So we're talking about temps in the mid-60s today. Lots of clouds, maybe a shower or two. Sunshine tomorrow, middle and upper 60s. We're going to stay dry. And for November, temperatures will be mild to warm with readings well up into the 60s. As we head into the weekend, we're going to be in the lower 70s, hanging on to sunshine. The next chance of rain doesn't come in here till perhaps the middle of next week. Have a great day, everybody.
Stay with Western Mass News on air, online, and on our app throughout the day for breaking news, weather, and exclusive content.